This village is now over 3 years old. I put an absolute ton of work into this, but it's still not finished yet. Hopefully though, by the end of this episode, we will be much further on, and you never know, we might even finish it. The first video I ever recorded was building this starter house, and I'm very proud of this village and all the other buildings we've got in it, so it's a little bit of a risk, but I'm planning on making quite a few changes around here. Firstly, the stone supports on the inside of the palisade wall, haven't done them at all, so we definitely need to get that finished. There are also a few areas that are just plain grass, and yeah, it's not good. One of the other issues I have is, the last update I did to this village, I built these houses over here on top of this stone slab. And I do like it, it's not going to be removed, but it doesn't really match all the path blocks and the coarse dirt that we've got everywhere else. So to fix that, I'm going to start to introduce a lot more stone into the paths around everywhere else in the village. Now, I know that's a bit of a risk because it will completely change the look of this, but I think it's been heading this way for a while, so it's got to be done. One of the other things I want to do is completely change what we've got in here with the honey farm. This is a bit barbaric, and I'm sure some people have pointed that out at some point, and it's not really necessary. We don't need to treat the bees like this. We do need to keep them contained somewhere so they don't disappear. But I have a plan. I'm going to rip out all of this. And I'm going to convert this building into more like a factory, like a packing area. And then stuff can go through into the warehouse. But what I think I want to do is we're going to come through here and build a greenhouse on the back of this. And have like a more free range bee farm. But I do want to keep this same design. Nothing wrong with this. I really like it. So we're going to have the farms pointing out this way with a greenhouse built on the back of it, and I think that'll work a lot better. And this area as well, definitely fill it up and make it a lot more interesting. The obvious problem there is the sheep, but that's alright because we have a ton of space around here, and I don't think this wheat field really makes any sense, so I'm probably going to get rid of this and have the sheep more at this end and not have the field go out that way as much. And then over this side, probably do something similar with the pigs. So this side of the wheat field, we're going to get rid of it all. And the pigs can go out this side and have this more open plan. And the cows, yeah, they'll stay where they are. We also need to improve the view as well. I do like this mountain, and with the shaders on, it looks great. But as you can see, we've got bits here that are missing. This bit is original Minecraft world generation, so that needs converting into something a bit more like this. All these paths that go along here, definitely want to get a little bit more stone added into this. And down here, as I was saying last time, I want to build a well. So this is going to come up from the sewers that we've got at the bottom, but that is a bubble elevator, so I can't go down there. And this whole area here, all going to be stone. There will be some dirt in it, because it's not going to be completely clean. It is still like a working village, but I want it to fit more with what we've got over at this side. So, sounds like we've got a lot of work to do. And we have. Let's get on with it. Alright, shaders off, so that means it's time to get some work done. I've removed the fence, and I'm digging down a little bit, so the well makes a little bit more sense. Next, we can build the well, and I've kept it pretty simple, mainly stone and spruce, and then the real work can begin. The goal here is to make this look a little bit more sturdy and built up, but still dirty and well used. So I'm using lots of variations of stone blocks and a lot of coarse dirt, a few mounds of rocks to ease the transition between the different levels, and a few leaves to add back in a bit of greenery. Next we're on to the path behind the well. Added in a bit more stone and added more leaves along the edge to separate the path from the area next to the flower greenhouse. Then I worked on the path next to the barn. Didn't change too much here, so just a bit more stone and again more leaves to keep the grassy areas separate. And finally, it was time to change the well spawn point and village square. I originally built this in episode 2 of this series over 3 years ago, so I was very worried about changing it. But I think I'm happy with the result, and it definitely fits better with the surrounding buildings. Okay, so this is where we are, and this is looking drastically different. What have I done? No, it's alright, I like it. It's definitely better. And all the way around here as well, we've got all this built up a little bit. No more just path blocks everywhere. Nicely built up, and you can see this is an established village now, not just like an early settlement, so I think this definitely works a lot better. And then the main feature we're going for here is this well, and I've always wanted this here. I can't believe I've waited this long to do it, but I think this is looking a lot better. There's a few little bits rough around here, maybe a bit more stone in there and some leaves to separate this a little bit, but yeah, like this. And this is a bubble elevator that comes up from the sewer, so I can't go down there because I've already got the bubbles in. We'll go down there in a second and have a look at that, but I just wanted to say I do have a few more plants. You'll see some tree stumps here. So I've got one there, one just in front of the pond over here, and I've got another one just in front of the greenhouse for the flowers just here. So these are going to be custom trees. Now, I've been trying to get into the custom trees. I've built some fairly simple ones when we did the flower area outside and on the mountains. So yeah, those are a bit simple. I want to have some more like big oak trees hanging over the well and over these paths just to build up the greenery a little bit. As I've removed all the grass, I still want this to be quite a green area. So I thought it made sense to balance that out by having a lot more trees. So that is what I'm going to do a little bit later on. Anyway, around the back of here, this still looking a little bit rough. These are the paths I originally did. Haven't changed these yet. And I need to do this a little bit because this is looking a bit out of place now. But where we're going now is just around the back of here. And these are some temporary little farms I had. So I need to get rid of these. I already have a big nether wart farm, so this can go. But this was my original drop down into the sewer. But I have another one over here now. So the reason I've done this is this one goes directly above, so it doesn't make much sense. But what I want to do down here is have this as like a maintenance tunnel. So we're going to have a ladder going down here so we can go up and down. Because technically, this sewer shouldn't really be connected to the well because, you know, that causes all kinds of problems. But if we just drop down here, this goes into some water. And you'll see there we have a trapdoor that goes down a little bit further. But if we just have a look at this first, I'm going to fancy this up a bit. I'm just trying to come up with a design. I'll probably have a drop at this point here that'll go into the water, and then there'll be a ladder going up at this bit. And then if we just come down this way a little bit, it always seems a lot further when you go underground, but this goes to where the well is, and it's just on the right here. As in real life you wouldn't have a sewer connected to the water source, I think I want to have a wall here and maybe have like a secret entrance, like a piston door, and then we can open up and go into the well. And as you'll see here as well, this goes a lot further down, but we'll have a look at that again in a second. But this just comes here and into the well, and we're in the village. So if we just come back over here again and have another drop down, and this time go down here, you'll see we drop down a lot further and it's very, very scary, but we do land in water. And this, as you can see, we are now at bedrock level. So this is at -60, I think it is. Where are we? Yeah, so it's the new bedrock basically. But then I've also dug this tunnel, which is exactly in line with the sewer tunnel that we've got above. And this goes again to the sewer. So I'll probably use this for a little bit of mining. But I did have an issue recently where I'd done some caving underground and I couldn't get back up easily, and I died, and then I couldn't get back down here easily. So I thought having this kind of thing would be very helpful if I ever get in that situation again. So this bubble elevator goes all the way up back into the well. Takes a while because, you know, it's a lot of blocks, but eventually we'll get here. So this is great, definitely liking this. So that's some good progress, but we have more work to do. Right, so we're just on top of the mountain now, looking down at the village, and I always forget that I haven't built this bit, so I need to get that done. But while I was marking out the stuff that I need to get done in there, I looked up at the mountain over here, and I thought, yeah, I really need to figure out what I'm doing. I've been going crazy with the orange terracotta, putting some pillars out, and I don't know if we can really see it. Let's free cam this so we can see what's going on. I've been putting a load of these pillars in, so these represent the peaks of where the mountains are going to go. And I've done it all the way along here, because I've decided I want to have it all the way along the edge of this perimeter. And yeah, it's going to be massive. So there's a fair bit on this side, but then if we go over here, I've also extended it down here. And this is the bit I want to get done first, I think. Although I really should get the perimeter finished. But anyway, getting distracted. So actually, we'll need to fly over there because it's just so ridiculously huge. So yeah, I want to carry the mountain on all the way down here. I'm going to turn this into a bit more stone. And then this bit that goes past the Hobbit Hills area, all this is going to be a mountain as well. And there's an absolutely huge one at the back, so this is going to slope right up. And what I'm trying to do here is transition between this area and a savanna we've got there, and the Badlands over here, swamp over there, and old mountains here. These areas don't really work all together, but if we have a big massive mountain range in the middle, it helps get from one to the other. But anyway, this is not something I'm going to build in today. I just thought I'd show you what I've been up to. And while we're in the mood for a bit of show and tell, I've done a few things between episodes as well, so let's just go have a quick look at that. So the first thing was an absolute ton of mining. I have shown a little bit of progress in here before, but this is the mine under my 1.17 area, and this is where I first came to mine copper and found my first amethyst geode. But I've basically just been using this because I've got a beacon set up here. I've gone 50 blocks in each direction and mined all of that out. Now, there's not a lot here because I've taken all of it over to the perimeter already. And we have an absolute ton of stone over there and a fair few resources in there as well. Spent a few hours down here doing a little bit of that. And back in the perimeter, this is what we've ended up with. Almost full chest there, but yeah, that's nothing. All of these are absolutely full of stone. So we've nearly got a double chest full of shulker boxes that are all full of stone. So I'm thinking that should be enough to do all of this, but then, you know, as we've just seen with all these pillars up here, we're going to need a lot more stone for all the mountains we're building. So yeah, this isn't the end of my stone mining days, definitely not, but it's a good start. And if you remember from last time, we took over the swampy ocean monument, and I had a real dodgy nether tunnel that was hanging over a crimson forest, but as you can see now, we have all this set up nicely and even marked with prismarine and sea lantern, so I know where this one goes. And I've also got a little bit carried away in the new monument as well and done a little bit of work. So if we just have a look, I've cleared out all of the inside. So yeah, no water in here, which is one of my favourite things to do in Minecraft. Clearing out the inside of a monument, loads of fun. But I've also been a bit busy on the outside as well, and I've got it all, it's all gone. Got really carried away doing this. I had no intention of doing this, but you know, I just got it done. So I didn't really record much of it. I think I did a little bit of a time lapse, so I'll show that now if it's there. But yeah, basically we've got this done. As this monument is so rare, because you don't get monuments in swamps, it's because this is the border of where the world changes from the 1.17 generation into 1.18. So this whole area where my village is and all this swamp is an ocean if you generate with this seed in 1.18. But because I did it in 1.15, yeah, this was just on the border, so it's generated in the swamp, which I had to make use of it. But I also think it'd fit well with this area as well. So we've got the crater, and if I could extend that out somehow and have the same kind of designs we've got in there being part of this monument, I think that could be really cool. It might be a little bit too far away to make sense, but we'll have a think about that, and you know, that could work. Right, I could do the trees now, but I think I'll leave them until later, because next I want to get on with an actual build rather than just messing around with all these paths. So the greenhouse is going to go here, as I've already said. But first, I need to clear some space and get rid of these sheep, don't I? Firstly, we can remove the wheat field, and while I'm at it, do a little bit of terraforming to build the land up. Then we can build the new sheep pen, following the contours of what I've just done. Also want to improve the barn a little bit, so I'll just add an extra awning on the side for the sheep. Next is the pig pen, but I want this to be a bit more muddy, so I'm planting some spruce trees, mainly for podzol, but I'm sure the spruce will come in handy as well. Then we can build a pig pen on the other side of the ridge that I put in the middle. And finally, we just move the sheep in, and then get rid of the old sheep pen. Okay, now that's done, it's time for the greenhouse. So let's put on some music, and get some building done. Right, so there it is. Just got a bit of a overhead view for the mate, because we have some unwelcome visitors. Well, some of them are welcome, but not the things that are riding on the back. So let's get rid of this fella first. I'm going to try and shoot me as well. Oh, I shot the horse. Didn't want to do that. I haven't got a skeleton horse at all. Been this well 3 years. No skeleton horse. Right, will you just go away? Thank you. Right. I know there's definitely one horse on the other side, and there might be another one. And I just so happened to have left some saddles in my old storage area. So, I'm going to get this guy. Simple as that. Nice. Right, I've never had one of these before, so you can go in my stables. Do they always have so few hearts? That's pretty terrible. Anyway, it's more of a novelty item, isn't it? So, let's get him in here. You can stay with Zeus. Yeah, go in here. Nice. We need a name, but call you Bones. Is that really imaginative? Yep. Alright, let's do that. Alright, so this is the interior of the greenhouse. This is what it looks like from the outside looking in. And yeah, I quite like it. We do need some more stuff in there. I'm going to put some of the azalea leaves because the bees can harvest those as well. But, you know, for a start, for a basic interior, I think this is alright. Got the honeycomb up the side just to highlight the fact what this area is used for. A few of the flowers on the floor. We've gone for the blue orchid because, you know, this is a swamp, but it doesn't look like it anymore, so that's why I've gone for this. And we also have these fully working as well. So let's go around into the packing area, which is not fully done yet, but we can have a look at what the plan is. So we did have the farms going all the way along this way, and then we had a barrier there and you just had a one wide gap for the bees to go in. But now they have that big open area, and we have the same farms here, but I've only got 7 of them this time. I think I had 15 before, so less than half now. But what I've done, I've set 4 of them for shears and 3 of them with glass bottles, and I have an absolute ton of bottles left over because I had a ridiculous amount of these, because most of them were bottles before, which is why I had a crazy amount of honey. But I don't have tons of honeycomb, and yet as you can see, this is working already. Hasn't been running long. And if we go over here, I've never really liked this area, but I think now I've changed this, I am going to. Before, this was the storage area, so we had a bubble elevator here, which doesn't really make much sense having it visible, and then we've got an absolute ton of bottles that I've been throwing away because I've just been crafting all this honey up, and I've got quite a bit over here. But as you can see, not a lot of honeycomb. So I think what I want to do is get rid of all the storage up here, turn this into more of an office area, because I think that makes a lot of sense for having a factory with an office above it. That's definitely true to real life. So down here, I can get rid of this bubble elevator, and then we're going to have a storage area down here. So we have them going into this chest in the minute. We're going to have a bubble elevator down here, hidden from view, and then we'll have a few chests, I don't know, maybe along this way. And then we can have a few tables or like processing areas, just to keep up with the story of what this is. And then through here, we have the warehouse where everything is actually stored. So this is like the crafting area, and then the final products will go in here. So we've got the honey and the honeycomb. May need to beef this up a bit because we've only got 1 chest for each. But yeah, happy with how that's gone, and I think I quite like the look of this. Let's have a look at the sheep pen as well, because can I get out of here? Oh yeah, I've missed a block, so I can definitely get out. Yeah, so this sheep and pig pen, I really like this. This definitely works better than what we had before, and I've done a little bit of the slabs and stuff along the back, so this palisade wall got a bit more support. And then the pig pen with the pod salt, yeah, this works really well. It just looks like a pig pen. And put a bit of the brown concrete powder in as well, just to mix it up. I think I also want to make a bit more room for the cows as well, because I've reduced their area a little bit so the pigs can get into here. But if there's plenty of room back here, we can extend the cow pen out, but you know, I'll do that another time. Right, I think I'm ready to do these trees now. Just been doing a little bit of resource collection. I didn't have any oak leaves, and that's what I want to build them out of. Also, oak logs and a few spruce fences as well. And I'm going to keep it really simple, try and stick to this. So let's grab a few things. Right, I don't know where I'm going to start though. This one is going to be quite a main feature, so I don't want to jump straight into that one. And I think the same about that as well, to be honest. And I also think I want to add in a couple more as well. So we've got this one here, and I think maybe putting another one at this side would make sense. Yeah, and then we can have that like arching over this way, and this one coming out like this. So I think like covering up this path would be quite good. If we had this one, quite a big one, it could like go over the well, but also over this way as well, and maybe even that way. Yeah, this could actually be quite a big tree. And then we've got one over here. I think one over here would be good as well, because I've got all these bushes down here anyway, so let's just get rid of that. Build this one up like that. Yeah, that'd be good. And then I've also thought of another spot, and that is for like a real big one around here. I think maybe in this bit. I don't know. Maybe down here? Could maybe have a few actually. I could have a little one over here. And then, but I think like if we did like a 2x2 one over here, that'd be real good. Have that go up really high. I am getting a bit carried away here because I'm not the best at building custom trees. But if we do something like this over here, yeah, I think that'd be good. But anyway, let's do a small one first. See if we can figure out how we're gonna do this, and then we can get the rest of them done. Well, that one first. Let's. Right, I've decided. Let's do this one first. Right, so I'm going to need way more logs than that. What am I doing? So let's grab another stack, and I'm going to turn... Let's just do those into the oak wood. Then we won't have any cut ends sticking out. I'm going to need some temporary blocks. I've done a lot of practicing of this in creative, but, you know, doing it in survival, very, very different. Pull that there so I can get up. And the idea is, what I want to do is not have them just go straight up like this. If we have them going off a little bit of an angle like this, and then from there we can go out in different directions with the branches, and once we start putting the leaves on, it's going to be a lot easier if we've got a decent branch structure. So I'm going to go out a little bit like this, and then we can actually come off this a little bit and do it at different angles. So don't leave it all completely connected. Have a few things going across like this. Maybe just come this way a little bit. Getting underneath though is going to be real tricky. Doing this in survival, what was I thinking? And if we do like that. Yeah, so that's coming over the path a little bit. It's alright. And then I think I'll probably have the fences coming out this way. But we'll leave them for now. We'll just get the main big branches in. Do we need to go up a little bit more? Yeah, let's do that. And like that. This way a little bit. And then that should probably go up. I'm just doing this completely random. But this is one of those things. You just lay down a few blocks and then step away and see what you think. This looks very square at the minute though, doesn't it? So we need to round it off a little bit by adding in a little bit more. You know what? I'm going to go down with this one as well. Let's go like that. At this point, let's have a step back and see what we think. Okay, that's a little bit weird, but you know what? It's not terrible. As a first little draft, and I couldn't really see what I was doing, so I'm alright with that. So let's have a look at it from a few angles as well. Oh, that's not too bad. I think we need some more a bit further down in this gap here. Yeah, that's not bad at this side. We are going to put some smaller branches in with the fences as well. But yeah, then obviously we have a big gap at this side as well. So let's go like that. Coming this way a bit. Yeah, I think that's looking pretty good. There's not a lot at this side, but I'm okay with that. We can have something like drooping down from there. Because what I want to do as well is keep it quite open. So each of these branches have a lot of leaves on, but then you want to be able to see gaps through it as well. Like you could even fly through it maybe. And I think that's going to look a little bit more realistic if we can keep it like that. So let's have a sleep and we'll try getting some leaves on. Right, so we can get on with the leaves. But first, I'm just going to add in a couple of spruce fences just on the ends of the branches to look like smaller branches and twigs that are sticking out. And then that really helps with the shape. So once we've done that, we can just start adding the leaves. And it really is important to get the branches right first before you start putting the leaves on, because it just makes it so much easier. And when you've got a few branches like this, I like to treat each one as like a separate tree and just try and cut it down into smaller pieces. Get that one looking good, move on to the next one. And then when you step back, you're pretty much there. All you need to do is just fill in any gaps. Make sure you have got a few though, so you can see a little bit of sky through the tree. And just keep stepping back, tweaking here and there. And eventually, you end up with a pretty decent looking tree. Alright, so that is my first attempt at a tree in this village. And you know what? I'm pretty happy with that. It's not the worst looking tree I've ever seen. It's probably not the best, but you know, it's definitely not the worst, so I'll take that. I like the way it's hanging over, and once we've got a few of these around, this area where I'm stood now will be quite enclosed, because we're going to have one there, and then another one over the pond as well, so I'll have this spreading out over the paths, and this is going to look pretty good. I'm very excited about getting on the rest of these done. I should have looked from this angle. That does look a bit straight, doesn't it? Going across that way. I might have to tweak that a little bit, but I think I'll get the others done first, then we can do some final changes later on. So I think now I need to concentrate on this, don't I? So let's jump into another time lapse and get these trees finished off. Alright, so there it is. It's all done. I now have trees in my village. Oh, and I am loving this. What a difference this has made. Just doing the paths, the trees, and a little bit of a mountain in the background. This has just transformed this place. I absolutely love it. I'm not the greatest tree builder. I said that at the beginning. And, you know, I'm getting there. I think I'm getting better. But still got a long way to go. But I'm still over the moon with how good this looks. Really happy with this little bit of an overhang. How it blocks the sight lines as we're walking around. As you get past them, you see other things like coming around here. We see the mountain over there. And if we just come over here, I did do a couple of bigger trees over. This one, about the same size as the others actually. But then I did this other one just around the corner. This is a little bit bigger. And I think this looks really cool. And why is that on there? Don't need you. And yeah, as you saw that last bit of the time lapse, I've also finished this little bit of the mountain off. Yeah, it's still like square there. And we're going to go up a lot further. But, you know, for now, I think this looks good. And while we've been doing all that, the honey farm has been running and we've got this already. So yeah, not too long a time. And yeah, this is still working. So I am going to get this done at some point. Not today though, I've just been working on the outside today really. And aside from the time lapse, I did do a couple of other bits as well. As I said, I've extended the cow pen out just so that they've got a little bit more room. and I think that is looking a lot better. It's filled up that space over there that was a little bit blank. And then after I did that, this area was looking a bit rough. There was nothing behind this house, so I've just put a little bit of a path down there. I've also been around as well and got all of these supports in behind the palisade wall. So we've got slabs going most of the way along now, because it was all just full blocks of cobblestone before, but I've gone all the way around behind the greenhouse over there and behind the blacksmith. And then the last thing we did was this path up here. So I've gone all the way around this bit and back to where the sewer drop is. And if we just have a quick look down here, I have this trapdoor. I did do this as an iron trapdoor originally with the pressure plate that could open it, but then that doesn't really help for when I'm coming back up, does it? So I've just done it as this now, so I don't have to worry about closing it as I'm going down. But when I come back up, I can do it anyway. And then I've just got walls down here. Tried to mix in a bit of the mossy as well. And I can just drop down into this. I haven't done the secret door here yet, but I'll get around to that when we do the episode on the sewer. But for now, we can get back into the village and have one last look. I think this is going to be the last episode in 1.19 as well, because at the time of recording this, pre-release 2 for 1.20 is now out. So I don't think I'm going to have a chance to get another video out before we get the full release of 1.20. But I have a few other things going on. I can get a few things done off camera. But for now, I'm going to leave it there. So if you've enjoyed this episode, please do leave a like. And I'll see you again next time. Thanks for watching, everyone. Bye-bye.